Hello everybody, my name is Cephalon and this is the episode 19 of Bedtime Stories in Numenera. Yes, Bedtime Stories. Bedtime Stories meaning we're gonna run around and do some stuff. So that's an airship. Airships are known to be nearly uncrashable due to their leisurely cruising speeds and simplified controls. The crash must have taken a rather unique confluence of events to occur. Well, there it is. Got to explain yourself. He's a cool character, I guess. Mother Timas. This woman glares at the air above her head, fingers fretting with a single bead in a long, peculiar chain of them. A long, angry muttering resolves into words as you get closer. Foolish boy, shivering at the crossroads made by your choices. Go on and pick beauty, pick strength, pick pleasure, whatever that be. Particulars don't matter, boy. What matters is the choosing and that you do it. Who are you speaking to? She blinks at the empty air and her hands steal to a metallic, many-faceted bead near the end of the chain. Not you, she says, snorting. But I may as well be. Mother Timmers knows you, lad. Born falling you were, born in flame. Sheds of your smouldering coal streaming through the air. When you struck ground, your bead first went cold, then hotter than a mother's hatred. She shakes her head and spits at her feet. Scarcely born you are, and learn quick. But you're still uncertain. All boys and girls are, until they start making choices and dealing with the consequences. Until they accept the cost of being adults. Now this is getting interesting. I don't understand. You make it sound like no choices can possibly be the right one. All choices sting, she says, flinging her dishwater grey palms in the air. And the sweeter ones are often sting the most, she sighs. You're confused, but that'll change. You'll have your feet under you soon enough. Not all of my children are as lucky.
Making a note.
This one, she says, showing you the bead she was speaking to before you arrived. It's carved in the shape of a malformed ring. Pico wants to keep his past. He saved a handful of shins by honest means, that is to say. It's taking him a long time. And yeah, and he is too busy pissing over the options to spend it. Her fingers fold over the bead. Push him into choosing a path, lad. Do that, and I'll return your call to you. Improved through my odd. Stronger than when you lost it. Okay, so I need to... I'm supposed to make a choice for him, huh? Where can I find him? He's... Mother Timmers trails off, closing her hand around her beads, starting into space. In Cliff's Edge. Okay. I have questions about something else. You mentioned you had my call. That's not what it is. I'm not a fool, boy, she says dryly. But you were born above my city, so I know you like or not. She reaches into the bag strapped to her hip. Something glitters within. This is your call, torn from you at birth. Name it what you will, but know what it be. Can I have a look at my call? When you finish the task I asked of you, not before. Okay. I want to ask you about something in particular. Aye. A note of worry cautious enters Mother Timmers' voice. She drops the chain to call snake-like into the palm of her hand. Rin. You describe the girl you're seeking, and she runs the chain of beads through her loosely coiled fist. So we're asking her about the girl that we're just supposed to be fighting. Didn't deliver her, she declares. Don't know her. She doesn't come from Cliff's Edge and may not be from Sagas neither. Farewell. Okay, so that woman has information.
You want it done right.
Lord Vuntken. So here it goes into somewhere. Yes. Cultist. I'm gonna talk to that guy now.
Yes.
Check that one out. This fallen pile of wood and stone marks the place where a house once stood. Walk away. That's Pico. Oh, we have him. Pico, the mutant boy, gazes at the entrance of the chirurgical parlor, flinching at each scratch. What kind of noises are there? Flinching at each scratch of razor measure on the metal from within. By your estimation, he is in his late teens, but is the size of a young, malnourished child. His arms are little more than bone wrapped in red speckled skin, and a raw line zigzags down between his mismatched eyes and over his blade of a nose, as if pointing directly at his thin lips. He sees you looking, and bird-like muscles flex in his frail jaw. Get a good look, he says, lifting his chin. Or maybe you'll want to call me some names? I hear eggshell a lot. Or maybe lightning bolt? I get that one from time to time. Crosses his bony arms and glares at you. Don't let me stop you. Call me some names. Laugh. Do it now. Because in another few minutes, I'll be the one laughing. Calm down, Earthquake. Very funny, hilarious, and you know what? I am calm. I'm not going to be the butt of everyone's jokes anymore, he says. Electricity sizzles within the nearby parlor. This time, he does not flinch away. Lighting flickers, trapped in his determined eyes. I have some money, alright? I'm going to use it to change myself. Change everything I can. Trails off, studying you in return. His eyes widen and he glances quickly away, studying the nearby parlor instead. What sort of changes are you considering? What do you care? Do you have business somewhere in the city? I don't want to be any trouble. Mother Timma sent me. I want to help. Oh, he says, blushing. She knows. Of course she knows. That means you know too. He chews his lips. Fine. Scared, alright? I've had this ugly face, this body my entire life. I've saved up to change myself, my future. Maybe I can become strong enough to deal with the people who hurt me. Or maybe I fix my face. I can do that, but then I'll still be small. Despite the anger in his voice, tears are shining at the corner of his eye.
I'll remember that.
I can only use the machines in the parlor once, understand? It's too expensive. Spent years saving up all this money, and it's not enough to fix me. He opens his pouch to display a moderately impressive collection of coins. Before I say anything, I can think about better uses for your money besides changing your appearance. Huh? He says, blinking rapidly, his thrusts out a beleaguered lip. Like what? Strength fails, beauty fades. Use that money to get an education at the Order of Truth. $5 points for 80, 4 points for 80%. Guy.
I'll remember that.
I know what you're saying, Pico says, but I worked hard to save up my shins. Why should I give them to the Order of Truth? Oh, dearest, Calliste says, shaking her head. I understand. You want to escape your body, who doesn't? But an education will do more than enrich your prospects. She waves a contemptuous hand at the chirurgical parlor. Damn, is that a hard word. My colleague is correct. Flesh rots, dear. Our minds are the finer tool, the unbreakable one. I understand, Pico says, casting one last longing look at the parlor. I guess that's why I was hesitating. I didn't want to spend all that money to temporarily fix half my problem. He gives both of you a tentative smile. Talk to the Order. Thank you. Nice. That was a good solution. That was one I would approve.
All right.
Shape of this operating table provides little information regarding the physiological of the beings it was originally designed to treat. These shelves abound with breakers, flasks, and other mirrored containers. The utter lack of labels of any of them is somewhat worrying. The books jamming the shelves of this desk are divided equally between obscure medical texts and medical how-to manuals. Doesn't rain much in here, does it? I mean, sure not. This old man's skin is covered in makeup, painstakingly drawn to resemble dark stone. His eyes widen briefly as he notices you, and his face and neck hardens into actual obsidian for a moment. Then he smiles and nods at you. Features mobile once more. Welcome, welcome, he says. Sorry about the stone. Polymorphic flesh modification, you see? I didn't see you walked up, and I assumed you were going to cut my throat and take my chirurgical power for yourself. Hey, why would you think such a thing? I do good business here, the old man shrugs. If I were a younger man looking to make a name for myself in the city, I'd kill me too. My chirurgical power is marvel for the prior world, you see. Just pick an item or a service, pay my outrageous fees, and after only a short, too long period of fairly safe but indescribable agony, you'll walk away with some horrible Numenera bits wearing away inside you. He pokes a few buttons and device strapping to his wrist. His lights twinkle across its length. A dark, glassy lens focuses on you. Well, interested? I can't help but notice you're a very honest man. Well spotted, he says, nodding. Clear streaks of quartz run up his prominent cheekbones, revealing the muscle beneath. It's a side effect of my modifications. I couldn't lie to you if you begged me to. Honestly, it's usually a hindrance to a businessman, but people seem to like it. Well, how did you come to this, or to own this parlor? It was originally a partnership, he says. My colleagues and I spent 2 years digging in and out, getting the whole mess working. Of course, we had to test the drones before we tried them on anyone else. Customers getting skinned alive, and opening day is bad for business. Turns out, that was a wise move. Gorna chose an intelligence modification, and the drones cut off his head to work on it more directly. Fire picked strength, and the drones sliced off her arms. They defaulted to severe in those days. Anyway, 6 partners later, I was the sole proprietor. I worked out the kinks, and here we are, with no fatalities in months. No fatalities in months. Show me your list of items and services. Of course, he says, tapping a few buttons on the broad device encircling his wrist. The lens beams a cone of light directly into your eye, which immediately begins watering. Blinking, you see a menu of items, seemingly hanging in the air. The jagged memory. Numenera analyzer? This, he says with a raised finger, is a tricky one. It's a mesh that fuses through your skin, leaving jagged marks like tattoos. When you attack, you'll always hit your enemy's old wounds, even if they weren't there before. Told you it was a tricky one. Used for 110 shins. Ah, no thank you. What else? The Numenera analyzer sounds safest. It's quite safe, most of the time. In almost 3 out of 5 cases, and procedures couldn't be simpler. The drone simply saw your skull open, shove an implant into the right spot, and seal everything back up again. Once they do that, the implant will help you identify the purpose of unknown Numenera. It costs 95 shins, but it pays for itself. The drone's metallic arms pin you in place, and you hear a circular saw spinning faster. Well, you can't claim Jurnith didn't warn you. The blade clips through your skull in a heartbeat, and pincers pry the loose cap inside. You are distantly aware of the struggling against the drone's unyielding arms before a metal spine jams itself into your brain. Everything goes white. Oh dear. After mending your breached skull, the machines release you. You stagger but keep your feet as the implant begins humming. swirls of text streak past your vision as the things comes to life. Interesting little thing, isn't it? It does get puzzled by larger Numenera, but it should be able to handle most of smaller things you find scattered around. Is there anything else I can help you with? Last cast have gained a new ability, Numenera Analyzer. Okay, farewell. I don't have too much money to make much more, but this is kind of cool. Okay, more on tasks. And get a skill thing. Alright.
Look out below! Above! Sideways!
I'm ready.
What is that? The silent engine machine casts a long shadow. As you study, your breath stutters in your chest. I'll leave it alone. Sorry, I'm going to save Bedtime Story. Just in case, just to be safe. Try to remember why this machine feels so similar. I couldn't. Because I don't have enough intelligence points. Bins and that. Everything about the slender young man says thug, from his scar-slashed eyebrows to the calloused hand covering or hovering over his hip, where a dagger would hang. He doesn't have one. Instead, flour cakes his hands, and a single apron strings hams from his pocket. He is, apparently, a baker. Stand still, you shine? He says and peers over your shoulder. You follow his gaze to an armored soldier who's loitering in the public square. The levy's been following me for days. Can't even stop for a piss without shaking side to side. You sure he's following you? Put it like this. I know when I'm being followed. I've seen it on my track from dawn to dark for 3 days. I ain't done anything wrong. And it's worse than that, he says, wringing his hands. That's my levy. Oh, so that's part of his life force something? Are you sure you didn't do anything wrong? By the Black Three. Yes, his denial is swift and deadly serious. I wouldn't nick a crust of bread, not anymore. He runs both hands through his hair, leaving streaks of flour. He's after me, and I don't know why. Sure that's flour? It sounds like it's acid or some drug. Look, he won't leave me alone, right? I gave a year of my life to make him, and I thought that was that. Now I catch him standing in the street outside the bakery, whispering to himself, playing with that carving of his. He even tried to talk to me. Livies aren't supposed to know who they came from, right? They ain't supposed to know who you are. He waves, gathering his courage. Could you talk to him, find out what he wants? Alright, I'll talk to you, Levy. He nods again toward the armored man who's standing a distance away in the public square. He's the only Levy in this district, so you can't miss him. Plus he ain't smiling like all the others. And he's holding some charred wooden thing in his hands.
Updated my journal.
Very well. That guy, huh? 4-minute Levy.
Yes. Of course.
This house was reduced to rubble when part of the cliff face collapsed. It's evidence that squares have slept here recently. Like blended, rotted fruit peelings and footprints and dust itself. Something scratches deep within the rubble. Sounds like someone or something is here. Hello? What makes no dig deeper into the rubble. Crawl part way inside, pushing aside boards and a thin slab of slate. Small girl gasps. There she is! Throwing up a hand to block on the sudden light. She's young, no more than 10 or 11 years old. She has made herself as small as possible to fit inside the tiny gap in the rubble. Her hair is dark and curly. Pulls herself deeper into the rubble away from you. Come on out, I won't hurt you. She shakes her hand vigorously, trying to shoo you away. Good, your patience would pay off, lads. Oh god. Thugs stroll over. They all carry weapons at their sides, though they walk with the cocky assurance of those who don't expect to need them. I swear I checked this hovel, says one of them. She wasn't here. No one was. How did this drive find her so easily? Don't fret it, big guy. The thug looks up at you, up and down, then calls out in the direction of the robot. Come on, little bird. Doesn't matter how good you are at hiding. You had to come out sometime. The girl hurtles behind you, keeping you between her and the thugs, even so it's obvious she's not sure about you either.
Don't let them take me, please!
You know this girl? Of course we do. The little urchin ran away from her home. Her mother asked us to find her and bring her back safely. Is that true? No, she grabs her wrist. They're bad men. They want to steal me. Kidnappers. That's just crude. We're delivery men, that's all. The means and motivations of our employees ain't none of our business. He sighs, dropping his facade. Turns to you with a look and pleads for understanding. Alright, yeah. There is a slaver who put up a fine bounty if we bring her back. It's all legal, and none of our business. Best to stay out of it, says he. The words kindly enough, but his colleagues' hands are on their weapons. Can't take me. Grip on her wrists tightens. He found me. He has this covers, right? Now it's getting interesting. Is that so? Well, Spider-Jack, what do you say? Is she coming with us, or are we taking her from you? That's entire. I don't know how good I am at his ability. I would like to see. Oh, I can't. Can I check my? I want to know. Probably all intellect skills. Just try and take her from me. He narrows his eyes. Something in your demeanor suits him off. His eyes widen and he takes a step back. Fine. She ain't worth the trouble anyway. Woo! Got out of this fight.
Oh God, thank you. They were going to take me back to that woman. I've never met anyone so cruel. When she found me the first time she even... My apologies. I'm still out of sorts. You have my thanks and grace, sir.
For a moment it looks like she might hug you, but at the last moment she seems to think better of it and pulls up a short half-dozen steps away. Collects herself, standing straight with her shoulders back. Then she nods. The gesture is so polite it's almost
My
formal.
name is Rin. My home and hearth and bread are yours to use. Except I don't have any of those things.
What's a little girl doing all alone here? Girl looks up at you, her forehead creasing like a little in irritation. My name is Rin. Then she hesitates and looks down, blinking. She reaches into her pocket absent-mindedly. If we could tell him that? As she stands there motionless for a second, then stops and looks at me again. No, I think I did. Looks up at you. I'm sorry. My name is Rim. My food and fire I used to use before I go. Without seeming to realize what she is doing, the girl brushes her hand through her hair and you see the side of her head has been shaved. Large stitches run along her scalp, holding together like an ugly cut longer than her hand. The wound is purple and angry, looking, only just beginning to heal. Can't be more than a week old. What happened to your head? Her body grows tense for a moment, her eyes darting around as if deciding whether or not to run away. Glances at the rubble where she had hidden from the thugs. Alexis, through her eyes, is still wary. I was running away. There were some people, bad people. I ran away and got hurt. Scowls at you fiercely. I didn't. Your story doesn't fit. Who fixed your wound and shaved your head? If you could hardly sit up, how did you keep running? I didn't know I was talking to a judge, she says angrily. Told you I can't remember. Not for days on the side of whatever happened. I'm sorry, Ren. I was just trying to help. It seems like you've had a rough couple days. Gives a wavering smile. Oh, that's not all bad. I found some shimmering berries today, so that means I wonder if this will poison me later. Always exciting. Oh. People were you running away from? Opens her mouth and she closes it again. Nods and pulls her hand back to her pocket absent-mindedly. I don't really remember. I think there were stealers. No, what's the word? Robbers. They wanted to rob me. Scar looks pretty bad. Are you okay? It's fine. It looks a lot worse than it is, and a lot better than yours anyway. The haircut is pretty awful though, isn't it? I don't think they really needed to shave quite this much. If you don't want to talk about it, it's fine. I'm having some trouble with my memory too. I know what that's like. She looks up at you for a long moment and slowly lets her smile slip away. Without it, she seems even smaller. Nods gravely. At first it was pretty bad. I couldn't stay awake or stand up. Even talking was hard. But it's a little better every day, and I don't hurt so much anymore. Sometimes I still get dizzy when I move around too fast. I forget things. She smiles bravely, touches the side of her head again, pressing with her fingertips. But it's a little better every day, says again, in exactly the same tone as before, as though she doesn't realize she already said it. It doesn't hurt so much anymore, but sometimes I still get dizzy when I move around too fast, and I forget things. There's a long pause. She stares at you blankly for a moment, her mouth opens slightly. Suddenly, her eyes lose their vacant look and grin spreads across her face. I'm just kidding. I mean, I do sometimes forget things. A little. But that was a joke. Says, and then blushes a little. Looks down sheepishly. It looks like she got very something on her head. Is there anything I can do to help? Shrugs nonchalantly. I don't know. I'm pretty good here. Unless you happen to have any spare food you're using. Water, or a blanket, or a new bed or house, or, you know, anything at all. Rin starts out talking with a playful smile on her face. But then her eyes swell up. Her voice stays cheerful even as the tears are running down her cheeks. She wipes them away, embarrassed and angry, but her hands are shaking now, and there are more tears, and words continue to pour out of her. I offer apologies. It's just that I haven't been hungry for days. I don't know where I am. My head hurts and nothing makes sense. She laughs then helplessly with a ting of trembling panic finally bleeding into her tone. What's around me? I'm all broken in my head. The mood is wrong and I'm so tired of being scared all the time. I'll take care of you. Come with me. Looks up at you and gives you a huge grin. Really? And she looks at your companions and seems to shrink away. No, I'm alright. I mean, thank you, but I'm alright. Stitch the handbag together. Just a moment, her eyes flash with panic again, and they dart around like she's getting ready to run. Then she touches the side of her head gingerly. I don't remember what happened exactly, but I got away and I ran and I ended up here. Talk about something else. How long were you hiding in the building? This is where I sleep. This is your home? No, this is just where I was staying. I ran away. My home is a long way from here. Where are you from? Really far away, but I'm not sure exactly which direction. She looks around a little, almost as if she were seeking a familiar landmark. It has to be a long way from here. My home isn't anything like this. There were trees upon trees. The trees aren't trees-like. The young girl squints off into the distance. After a moment, her eyes go distant and you realize she probably isn't going to finish a sentence. You were saying something about trees? What? No, I wasn't. Oof. Why don't you come with us? I think I would feel safer here. Are you sure? Quite sure, yes.
Updated my journal.
Okay, in the journal we can say... Found Rin hiding in the ruins of a collapsed building at Cliff's Edge, but I still need to convince her to join my party so I can bring her back to the toll. I did get many more quests. Jesus Christ. This never stops here, does it?
We shall see.
So that's an interesting thing. That guy looks interesting to talk to. Check the map. Okay, that's what it looks like. We haven't crashed airship here. Okay, not too much.
With alacrity.
Hello, Calistesias!
Don't shout. When you do, we can all hear you. It makes you even more irritating than normal.
I understand, Calistesias!
That guy's awesome. That guy's just awesome. And with that, I'm gonna close up the episode. I'm gonna close up this episode because this guy, Eritas, he's gonna irritate everyone. Thank you for watching. This was part 19. I'll see you soon.